Amazing science trick with candles with needles. Sure, here is a classic physics demonstration called the balancing candle experiment, which uses a candle and needles. You'll need a long candle, it should be at least 10 centimeters long. 2 long sewing needles or pins, at least 5 centimeters. A cork or eraser. A straight pin or a small nail. A lighter or matches. A glass of water, for safety. Steps. Insert the 2 long needles through the middle of the candle at a right angle to the candle's length, so that they form a cross with the candle. The needles should go all the way through the candle and should be positioned roughly in the center of the candle. Stick the straight pin or nail into the cork or eraser to create a small stand, and then carefully balance the needles, and thus the candle, on the pin. This may take some adjusting to get right. When you have the candle balanced, light both ends of the candle. Over time, the candle will burn down, but remarkably it will stay balanced. Science behind it. This experiment demonstrates the center of mass. Initially, the center of mass of the candle, with the needles, is at the midpoint of the candle, which is where you've placed it on the pin. As the candle burns, wax drips off from both ends, which might make you think the candle would become unbalanced. However, because you're burning both ends of the candle evenly, the center of mass remains in the same place, at the midpoint of the candle. So even though the candle is getting smaller and lighter, it remains balanced on the pin. Safety. Always perform this experiment in a safe location and keep a fire extinguisher nearby. Do not leave the candle unattended, and make sure the experiment is out of reach of small children and pets. Also, make sure the candle is securely attached to the needles and the setup is stable before lighting the candle. You should have a glass of water or some other way to extinguish the candle nearby. The candle can be extinguished by blowing it out, but in the event that it tips over or starts to burn too vigorously, it's good to have a backup plan. User Amazing Science Trick Sap Powder. Superabsorbent polymer, SAP, often referred to as water gel or magic snow, if it's the type that expands a lot, can make for some amazing science tricks due to its ability to absorb a significant amount of water. Here's a fun and simple experiment you can perform using SAP powder. Experiment, instant snow. You'll need superabsorbent polymer powder, often sold as instant snow powder. Water. A large bowl or container. Steps. Place a small amount, a few tablespoons should suffice, of the SAP powder into the large bowl or container. Slowly start adding water to the container. Be prepared for a surprise, the SAP powder will quickly start to absorb the water and expand. Keep adding water until the powder stops expanding. You will end up with a large amount of a snow-like substance. Observations. You'll notice that the SAP powder can absorb many times its own weight in water, rapidly expanding into a fluffy, snow-like substance. If you let the snow sit and evaporate, it will eventually shrink back down as the water is released, and you'll be left with the dry powder once again. Science behind it. Superabsorbent polymers are long chains of molecules that are able to absorb water due to the presence of hydrophilic, water-loving, groups within the polymer structure. When the SAP comes into contact with water, these hydrophilic groups form hydrogen bonds with the water molecules, drawing the water into the structure of the polymer and causing it to swell. Safety. While most SAPs are non-toxic, they should not be ingested and can be a choking hazard. Always follow the safety instructions on the packaging, and supervise children while they are using SAPs. Never put the expanded SAP down the drain, as it could cause blockages.
साइंस की ऐसी अमेजिंग ट्रिक जिन्हें देखने के बाद आपको मजा ही आ जाएगा। ट्रिक नंबर 1, इसके लिए आपको एक कैंडल लेना है और उसे दोनों साइड से छीलकर उसके बीच में एक सुई डालना है। फिर उसे दोनों गिलासों के बीच बैलेंस करना है। अब दोनों ओर आग जलाना है। उसके बाद ये किसी झूले की तरह हिलते रहता है। ट्रिक नंबर 2, इसके लिए 3 डिस्पोजल कप लेते हैं। फिर एक कप में थोड़ा सा पानी डालते हैं। फिर पोजीशन को बदल देते हैं। उसके बाद
ice.